So far during NHL Free Agency 2019, we've seen all kinds of big signings, but there's actually a fair bit of big-time players available still that are not signed. In today's video, we're going to go through a step-by-step guide for all three positions, goalies, defense, and forwards, and take a look at who's still out there on the market. We'll get into all that coming up next. Welcome back here to Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, today I want to go over the remaining free agents that are still available. You'd be surprised how many good players are still looking for contracts and deciding on their future here, and they're still on the market here. So let's jump in and take a look at a step-by-step guide by position on who's still out there. Now, first taking a look at goaltenders, there's not as many. We've seen a lot of goalies get signed and change teams here. There's really only a handful left, including Cam Ward, who obviously played with the Carolina Hurricanes for many years, played with Chicago last year, and is now still looking for a new place to play. He remains unsigned. Of course, you got Scott Darling here as well, who was the starter in Carolina a couple of years ago. Did not go over very well, spent last year mostly in the minors, and then was traded and then thus bought out by the Florida Panthers here. So he's looking for a new opportunity. I'm not real sure if he's going to get one because things have not really gone well for him the past couple of years. But you never know. Maybe somebody will sign him mostly to play for their minor league affiliate team or something to that effect. But I'm not sure that he's going to see any time in the NHL this year. I think for him to get another chance, he's going to have to reprove himself at the lower level first and see if another team will give him a shot after that. And we also have former Flyers netminder Michael Neuwirth as well, who's battled a lot of injuries the last few years. He's still out there. Not really sure where he's going to end up or if he's going to remain in the NHL or not. But those are the three main goaltenders that you would be familiar with, at least, that are still out there looking for NHL jobs. Now, jumping over and taking a look at some of the top defensemen, of course, one of the top free agents, period, in my opinion, is former Maple Leaf defenseman Jake Gardiner, or at least I think soon to be former defenseman for the Maple Leafs. You never know, though. Kyle Dubas has made a lot of moves in the last number of days. That blue line for the Maple Leafs has been really reshaped here. A lot of changes have been had here, and I would not be surprised to see them continue to make moves. And depending on what they do, I guess you never know. Maybe Gardner's waiting to sign with somebody just in case Toronto's able to free up enough space to sign him. I'm not really sure. I do think it's pretty doubtful he returns to Toronto. I do think there's a fair bit of interest out there, but I guess Jake Gardiner is kind of surprised that he's not signed. He's a great skater, a good puck mover. I realize he's had his defensive woes at times, especially in some key Game 7s over the past with the Maple Leafs versus the Bruins, but really, overall, he's a pretty solid puck-moving defenseman who was expected to fetch, probably somewhere $6 to $7 million per year. And seeing Tyler Myers sign for $6 million, I would think Gardiner will get more. He certainly has more offensive upside than Tyler Myers does. So we'll see what happens here. But Jake Gardiner's still out there, still available. You get Winnipeg Jets defenseman Ben Sherratt. Would not be shocked to see him re-sign there, but the Jets have a lot of things to work out with their cap situation. They're really in a bind, and right now Sherratt is out there looking for work. It's not really clear if he's going to have a good chance to return to Winnipeg or not. He's played a lot alongside Dustin Byfuglien over the last few years here, and he would certainly be another big blow to that Jets blue line if he were to leave. He would be an excellent pickup here for many teams. He'd be one of those signings that I'd classify as low cost, but yet very valuable. He can play big minutes and certainly play a big role, possibly top four or maybe a bottom pair depending on the team he's on. But it could be a pretty good catch here for some teams looking for help on that left side of their defense. Of course, you get some veterans as well, including Ben Hutton, Adam McQuaid, Ben Lovejoy, Dan Girardi. Of course, the recently bought out Dion Phaneuf is also available. Chris Weidman's looking for work. He's hanging out in his hometown, St. Louis, right now. Obviously, Weidman was kind of in the middle of that controversy early in the year with Ottawa with that Uber driver video that was recorded. After that, he really could not stick anywhere. He was traded to the Oilers, went to the Panthers, bounced around, played in the minors, and really has not been able to stick anywhere here. So we'll see what happens to Chris Weidman if he can get another opportunity. But I think that Uber driver video certainly took a blow to his reputation here as a person as well. So I guess we'll see. But he's certainly a pretty good puck-moving, good skating defenseman. So we'll see if he can get an opportunity. You've also got Joe Morrow out there. Freddie Claesson from the Rangers was not qualified and still looking for work. Then you get some more veterans as well, like Mark Mathot and Michael Del Zotto. Of course, Del Zotto finished the year with the Blues, winning the Stanley Cup. Mathot, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with him. He may or may not even continue playing. He's had a lot of knee injuries the past few years, and he hasn't really made an announcement one way or another. But I would not be shocked to hear Mark Mathot shutting her down and opting for retirement. He's got a young family. His knees have been bothering him a lot. So I guess we will see how that goes. But he's certainly an intriguing veteran out there if he's able to play on a short-term contract. You got some pretty big-time forwards as well, including Jumbo Joe Thornton, one of the greatest players that are still actively playing and high up on the points total list of all time here. I will not not be surprised if he waits a little longer and ends up signing a one-year bonus laden contract here with the San Jose Sharks. I can certainly see that being a pretty good possibility. I think he's probably waiting for San Jose and Doug Wilson to sort out a few other things here to see what they can work out, but I really don't see Joe Thornton going anywhere else, and I really don't see him not wanting to play. He certainly made it clear he wants to play. I think he's just being patient right now with the Sharks, and of course one of his longtime San Jose teammates, and likely somebody who would want to return to San Jose, Patrick Marleau, still out there after being traded from the Leafs to the Canes and then bought out. I know he's made it pretty clear he'd love to return to San Jose, so we'll see if they can bring him back or not, but they do have other deals that they need to work out first to see if they can fit it in or not. They just recently lost Captain Joe Pavelski to a cap crunch situation as well. They didn't want to give Joe the extra term he was looking for, and he ended up signing in Dallas. So I guess we'll see here. But we also got some pretty intriguing middle six forwards who can be very helpful and contribute a lot, like Marcus Johansson or Ryan Dzingel. We saw both of them have some pretty decent runs here with their new teams after they were traded at the deadline. Of course, you got veteran forward Derek Brassard. You get Justin Williams as well with the Carolina Hurricanes. In the Hurricanes press conference, talking about the Aho offer sheet, Don Waddell did allude to the fact that he thought Justin Williams was leaning towards playing, but they're waiting for his decision. I would assume he'll sign again in Carolina if he decides to keep playing, but I guess we will see. There's also some other veterans around as well, like Thomas Vanek, Brian Boyle, Ryan Spooner. Of course, the hometown hero in St. Louis, Patrick Maroon. He'd love to be able to stay in St. Louis, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep him. Obviously, he took a one-year deal last year with a chance to play at home, and it really worked out quite well. But many feel like he's at a stage in his career where he needs to cash in and get as much money as he can, because this could very well be his last contract. And because of all the younger players in St. Louis really earning more of an opportunity and some RFAs that need to be signed, it's doubtful that the Blues have the cap space to retain him. So I guess we will see what happens with Maroon. But after his 1 year of playing at home, he very well could find himself in a new uniform next year. Of course, you got Michael Furlan as well, who's probably looking for somewhere around $5 or $6 million a year is what was reported heading into free agency. I guess we will see. I think he's going to end up signing for less and be a pretty valuable signing. Of course, there are some teams probably a little cautious of his injury history, but I do think a lot of teams would be, wise to take a chance on Furlan if they can get him for the right price. That is, I think he could be a very valuable signing as well. And of course, some other guys like Marcus Kruger and Riley Sheahan are still out there as well. Now, keep in mind as well, I'm recording this video here on July the 3rd, around middle of the afternoon, at least my time where I am on the East Coast. So it is quite possible by the time I get this posted here in the next little bit that some of these guys could have possibly signed. So stay tuned. I'll update the pinned comment at the top here of the comment section if anything like that happens between recording and the time that it's posted. But all kinds of great players still on the market. So let me know down in the comment section here, especially for the teams that you guys cheer for. What players would you like to see your team go after here and try to get signed before another team swoops in and gets them off the market? Because there's lots of talent still out there looking for contracts. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams. There's daily content posted all summer long, so stay tuned for all kinds of hockey content, even though it's the off season. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.